Hello YouTube. I'm going to try to make this short. I've had quite a few people ask me how I done the power supply or wired up all my lights and all that. So I'm going to try to explain what I did. I try to keep everything as simple as I can keep it. I like things that are just easy, simple, easy to maintain, that kind of stuff. So the way I did this, it's very direct and simple. I've been running it off like a deep cycle marine battery, which since it's been a couple years since I made this setup, the battery has got to the point it really doesn't hold a really good charge anymore. So I got to get a new one. So right now I have one of these as a 10 amp. 10 amp is good for like some of these smaller ones or my LEDs, but it will not power like my bigger ones, like my Vectors there, or my Smith & Wessons, or this, Aerodynamic right here that has the 8 individual rotators in it. So it won't power stuff like that. It just doesn't have enough amperage to it. And that's why I like the battery, because it always works really good. But I'm gonna talk about how I did the negative side first, because that's probably kind of the simplest part. Is essentially what I did is when you look at the way I have these adjustable shelving, it just has like little notches, and you have like the little arms, I guess you can say, that come off it. You can see the butt connectors there. Now essentially all I did is, since that is all metal right there, I essentially just turned each one of those metal shelves into like a body ground. So like say you're mounting this on your car, you're going to take that negative and you're just going to screw it to either the body of the car or the chassis or something like that, and that's how you're going to create your ground. That's essentially all I did there on all these lights. Now on these ones right here, I couldn't do the same method because I don't have shelving. So what I did here is I just took a metal plate and just put a metal plate back here and put the butt connectors on it. And I have it set up where, like, say I think I have these 3 all hooked together, or these 4 hooked together. So they're all hooked to one ground. It goes to the metal piece. Same, I think those 2 are hooked together and those go there. All the little ones are hooked together. Those all go there with one wire. So to minimize the amount of wires that I have ran all over the place. Now the positive side is the side that was a little more, a little more in depth, but I still kept it as simple as possible. Obviously, here you can see here's my positive cable. Now, all I did is I just picked up everyday household light switches. Now, a switch is a switch. They turn on, they turn off. You don't need anything super special for something like this. Now, if you are building something that requires a lot of wattage, a lot of voltage or something like that, and you need a switch that's specifically rated for that, absolutely get the proper switch for your application. But for something like this, just powering some 12-volt lights, the household light switches work perfectly fine. Not to mention, you can pick these things up for like $1 a piece, maybe $2 a piece if you want a fancy one. So when you're putting that many switches, every little bit of money you can save obviously really helps. Now essentially all I did, I just took a piece of wood, 1/4 inch, nothing major, and I just measured everything out so all the switches would fit. Made the little rectangle holes using a drill bit, little multi-tool, stuff like that. And these 2 screws right here, originally the screws that would have came with it to actually secure the light switch into the box. And then you also have the other 2 holes, so when you put your light switch cover over the light switch, you have the other 2 screws. Now these screws are the same thread, so they worked out to where I have those going into those holes right there that the light switch cover would have originally went into. So I was able to use the screws that came with it, so I didn't have to get any extra screws or anything like that. So it actually worked out really well. Now for the positive, let me see if I can get some of these wires out of the way. All I did is I took a couple of those neutral blocks or bars. I don't know what their technical term is, but they're for like your interior breaker panels for your house. This is for your neutral and your grounds. I just picked up 2 of those. I have one there, one here. I have my main hot coming in. So now with the hot coming in, these essentially are now my hot side. These are kind of like the positive side of my battery now. And I literally just took a wire, screwed it in here. That wire came out, went to one side of my light switch. The other side of my light switch has the other wire that runs up through one of these bundles of wires that goes to one of these lights, one of the functions. Same with the little bundle here that goes to these. And then the bundle that goes to all those right there, I ran up underneath the shelf here. Now like what I was saying about this power supply here, so it's only, like I said, it's only 10 amps, so it'll run stuff like, say, my LEDs with no problem, because they don't require a whole lot of wattage and voltage, to really make them run. It'll even run stuff like small bars like that one right there, or this one. It'll even run, say, like this aerodynamic right here that has the sealed beam pumps, because it only has one motor and the bulbs, and it doesn't require that much. But now once you start getting into, like, say, that vector, you see it will not operate that vector. Barely will run this one right here. See, it goes into protection mode on me. The Smith & Wessons, not gonna happen. It might power some of those, but it might go into protection mode. Now, the reason I like the battery, I'm gonna kind of show you why I kind of like using the battery. Now, I'm just gonna show you just with this little cheap 12 volt Harbor Freight special battery. So give me 1 second. Okay, I got that hooked up. You see it's just a 12 volt battery. But you can see it will run that vector up there. It'll run my Smith & Wessons, or sorry, it's my Arrow, but my Smith & Wessons right here. It'll run those. You know, it'll run some of these, you know, other larger bars that I have. Let's see. It'll somewhat run that one. I mean, it's a small battery, but, you know. But you gotta think, you know, if you have a nice heavy-duty deep cycle marine battery that obviously has a much higher, you know, cranking amps and, you know, things like that, that's gonna run these lights with no problem. What I like about it is I can turn multiples on, and if I put too many on, all it's gonna do is they're just gonna slow down a little bit, you know, and then I just shut them off. If you get one of these and you get a good one, you can run multiple lights with no problem and, you know, have no issues, but you can only do so many, and it'll either go into protection mode or you can burn them up and then, you know, or short them out. So that's why I just keep mine simple. I just use the car battery. So, but like I said, if you go online, I'm pretty sure you can find really good ones out there, or you might even come across somebody that actually has one that they power all their stuff with no problem. But I like to keep it the other way. So I kind of hope this answers any questions that anybody had as far as how I did my wiring, how I hooked them up, what my power supplies is. And you can see it's very simple the way I did it. So if this is something you want to do, or this is how you want to run all the wiring for yours, I hope this helps you out. Thanks for watching.